Good evening, Millersville, and welcome to another installment of In the Zone. We have a full week of headlines, an NFL weekend review, and we'll play some NBA over-unders. Let's get in the zone.
The pride of Susquehanna Valley is making headlines again this season, but it's not for a reason the local product would want. Let's take a look.
Look at Taylor, what he's done.
Before he gets the handoff right here,
175 yards.
and he goes past 50, past 40, then he goes taken down at about the 35-yard line. He really gets taken down hard. Let's see why.
Looks like he's shaking up.
Sits in pain. Still rolling around a little bit. We're going to take a look here. So you can get splashed hard by Dominican Sue. McCoy will leave the game with a shoulder injury. After the game, he tells reporters he expects to play on Thursday against the Jets, but if he's on your fans' team, I suggest making sure you have a decent backup just in case he's not able to start.
Moving on to McCoy's former team, a big NFC East showdown as both teams' seasons are on the line as the Philadelphia Eagles travel down to Jerry's World to take on the Dallas Cowboys. First and goal, Sam Bradford hands it off to, my apologies. Dez Bryant finally gets himself into the action after missing close to over a month with a foot injury as Dez Bryant gets inside the red zone to set Dallas up for an eventual touchdown drive. Castle, he's back. He's looking. Enough time in the world finds Cole Beasley in for 7. One of 2 touchdowns for a career night for Mr. Beasley. Jerry Jones looks on as his team is up 7-0. As well as Tony Romo looks on, he will look to be active for Week 11. And DeMarco Murray scores against his former team right there as he's in for the touchdown. A very good night for the former Dallas Cowboy, as it's now all tied up once again, 7-all. 13-play, 80-yard drive. See here, Greg Hardy get into a little shoving match with the backup left tackle, Matt Tobin. Greg Hardy, a very emotional player, playing with his heart on his sleeve, and that penalty will cost him 15 yards during the kickoff. Matt Castle, he's back. He's looking, and the ball is full.
Well, the NFL has just a handful of undefeated teams left this week. The lone NFC team had a big test. Let's go down to Charlotte. Green Bay taking on. They have the lead in Carolina. As Carolina's in the red zone, Cam Newton slam dunks the ball in for the score. Later in the quarter, Newton will connect here to Greg Olsen. Then, later on, Newton one more time before the half. Taking it deep, connects to Corey Brown. Flag on the play, but it's going to stand. Into the fourth, Rodgers. Going to take it to his receiver, Rodgers. Showing some life. Then Newton, late in the fourth, picked off. Going to the end zone. Now out of bounds. Late, inside 2 minutes, Rodgers. And picked off. That's game. Carolina still undefeated. Still the man in Carolina. still the man in the NFC, still undefeated.
Candidate for one of the surprising teams of the year, the Minnesota Vikings are taking on the St. Louis Rams. Let's go to Minnesota in the middle of the first quarter as all day, Adrian Peterson runs for the first touchdown. Vikings are up 10-0. Later in the first, with Foles under center, he hands it off to the rookie Todd Gurley, and he is in for the score off a second effort play. In the second quarter, St. Louis kicker Greg Zuerlein will drill the 61-yard field goal, which will go down as the second longest field goal in NFL history. The third quarter, Bridgewater takes a snap, he scrambles around, and he runs in for the 6-yard score. And now we head into the fourth. Teddy Bridgewater will scramble and slide for the first down. But a dangerous hit as he gets rocked. And let's take another look closely on this last play. Teddy Bridgewater will leave the game with concussion symptoms, would not return. With 17 seconds left, the game, Greg Zuerlein will try to tie the game with a 53-yard field goal to send the game into overtime. And in overtime, Blair Walsh connects with a game-winning field goal as Minnesota defeats St. Louis in the Battle of the Kickers, 21-18. And the Denver Broncos are one of 4 undefeated teams left in the NFL as they head up to Indy to take on Peyton's former team, the Indianapolis Colts. 10-0 for the Colts in the second quarter as Luck finds Jack Doyle in for 6, and that is Andrew Luck's 100 career pass for the man's young career. As time winding down in the first half, Omar Bolden gives Denver some much-needed momentum as he heads to the house, breaking off an 83-yard run as he scores 17-7 going into halftime. Start of the third, Peyton Manning is back. He steps up. He finds his man Emmanuel Sanders for 6 as the Denver Broncos are now closed the gap to 3. It is now 17-24. Fourth quarter, score 24 tied as the future Hall of Famer Adam Vinatieri knocks out a 55-yarder to take the lead going forward in the fourth. Last chance for the Broncos. Peyton Manning, he's back, and he is picked off by Darius Butler. And the Colts are the 1-7-1 as they defeat Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, 27-24.
Now it's time for the in-his-zone play of the game. And it all comes down to in the Bayou, the Saints host the Titans. Marcus Mariota floats up what would be an easy interception, but Keegan Lewis of the Saints enjoys Bird collide, and the ball pops up right up. But Deontay Walker takes in for the incredible 61-yard touchdown.
And that'll do it for headlines. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll dive deep into more NFL with our analysts. Stay tuned. You're watching In the Zone.
See, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
For authentic Italian dining, go to Nino's Pizzeria. Nino's menu includes pizza, wings, stromboli, subs, and Italian dinners. Stop by from 10 to 2 on weekdays for the lunch special. Nino's Pizzeria, 11 Manor Ave, Millersville.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to In the Zone. The Broncos lost on Sunday to what was a struggling Colts team. What was the X factor in this huge win for the Colts?
Well, personally, I got to give it up to not just one player, but the whole entire Colts offense. If you think about it, the entire time they were playing this whole year, they weren't the Colts of old that we've all come to know them. But when they played the Broncos, something just clicked and the offense worked. Like, if you look at these numbers, Luck had an amazing game, 252 passing yards right there. And their offense had 27 first downs, 372 total yards, and a time possession of 38 minutes and above. I mean, the offense was the reason why that team won last night.
I definitely agree with you on the offense being the X factor, but I'm also going to attribute this to Andrew Luck himself. He looked like the Andrew Luck of old on Sunday night, and that's great for the Colts because him clicking is definitely great for the offense, but their offensive line also showed up and played on Sunday night against the Broncos. And I don't know if this is their new offensive coordinator who they just hired, like just before the game for the Broncos, like pre-game for Broncos. That's all he really had time to implement when he was hired on Wednesday, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, or something like that.
And, you know, coming right into the system and having a performance like that after being a very, very struggling team and still a struggling team, we'll have to see next week to see if they're actually picking up the pace here. But that's phenomenal if you're the offensive coordinator for the Colts and brand new, and that's your first game, and you come out and beat the undefeated Broncos.
Guys, I want to touch on their defense a little bit. How about their stops there to keep Manny from getting his new passing record?
I mean, they did. Defense was great. Defense showed up, but their defense has been showing up consistently week in, week out. There haven't been a lot of teams scoring a lot of points against them. So their offense was what was lacking, and Andrew Luck and the offensive line showing up.
Well, I mean, you do got to give credit to the Colts. I mean, Peyton Manning's a phenomenal quarterback, future Hall of Famer first ballot. We both can agree on that.
Definitely.
But for them to just stop him like that the whole entire game, I believe that they came to life. But again, they were consistent. But I just feel like they stepped it up even more. But we're gonna go with the offense stepping up even more than what they have this whole season.
Right. So can you guys pick out one particular guy on the offense to be your X factor?
Andrew Luck the whole way. He looks like the Andrew Luck before this season started. He looks like he's finally figuring it out for this season.
I got to go with Andrew Luck again, too. I feel like now that he's settled in, he's going to produce the whole rest of the halfway season, and he's going to be Andrew Luck of old.
Great. So Big Ben went down again for his second time this year. So the Steelers don't have Vic. They're going to have Landry Jones. So how's this going to impact the Steelers' hopes to make it to the playoffs, guys?
I mean, Big Ben is a big part of that offense with the Steelers. I mean, if you look at Landry and Vic combined, I know we're not talking about Vic, but I just want to put this together. Only 5 touchdowns between the two of them combined, but with 3 interceptions and 12 times they've been sacked. I mean, if you look at their upcoming schedule, they're playing 3 teams that are mediocre records with a 10-16 combined record. But after that, they play 2 really great teams that are 15-1 combined, one of which is undefeated that we all know about. But I hope that Ben Roethlisberger comes back within 5 games, because if he doesn't, the Steelers have no chance of the playoffs. But as of right now, I'm considering them still a wild card contending team.
I can agree with you there. Big Ben going down for the second time this season really is going to hurt them because they did not perform well with their backup quarterbacks in, either one of them. And for that matter, I feel maybe they'll have a wild card spot. Maybe I'm not looking for them to be a wild card contender, though, because, I mean, Big Ben's probably going to be out for 5 weeks, close to 5 weeks, and maybe a little bit more than that. So there's no real certain timetable on that right now. But again, they're not going to. I don't see them in the playoffs this season as long as Big Ben's going to be out.
Well, Blaine Gabbert took over the struggling Colin Kaepernick formerly led Niners, and he beat the Falcons by 1. Should the Niners keep Gabbert in for the rest of the season, should Kaepernick be given an opportunity to be in for a second time, or should they keep in Gabbert?
To be honest, I think they should stick to Gabbert. For this against the Falcons, he was 15 and 25 for passing. He had 185 yards, 2 TDs, but he also did throw 2 interceptions. But in my eyes, a guy who hasn't played in the NFL consistently for a few years, coming out and only throwing 2 picks and throwing for 2 touchdowns, for me, that's saying something. That's saying, hey, this guy can at least lead us and at least score some points. Kaepernick was not doing anything for them this year, and I don't know if that's a sign that Harbaugh was what was keeping Kaepernick going, and it wasn't Kaepernick himself and his playmaking abilities. If it was Harbaugh telling Kaepernick what to do, or what the deal is there. But Kaepernick needs to figure it out, and I don't think this is his season. If I'm the 49ers head coach, I'm sticking with Gabbert for the rest of the way through.
I'm going to just say one word about Blaine Gabbert's performance last night, and that's going to be fluke. I mean, the dude is not – I don't think he is a franchise quarterback yet, and I know we're not talking about that, but to be one for the 49ers, you got to be a good quarterback. Colin Kaepernick was the answer for them, especially when Alex Smith went down when he first got his starts. I mean, Gabbert has fumbled 14 times in his rookie season alone, 21 of the past 3 years, 24 picks, 74 sacks, all in his rookie and sophomore and junior years. You want to go with that. I feel as though Colin Kaepernick is the better athlete for that team. He has the better stats, and he is the better choice. So give Kaepernick a second chance, maybe even a 3rd, 4th, 5th, up to 8th, because I feel he's going to be the better person for that team more than Blaine Gabbert.
No, I mean, I personally agree with you being that Kaepernick's a better quarterback for the long term for the 49ers. I'm saying for the rest of this season, it's Gabbert all the way, because Kaepernick, his numbers aren't even close to the numbers he had even last season, and the 49ers weren't even that great last season. And he's not looking good. He's making poor decisions. He's throwing a lot of picks. His completion percentage is just non-existent almost. He's not doing great. And then the 49ers got rid of Frank Gore before the season started, trading him to the Indianapolis Colts, as we all know. And so the running game, with Reggie Bush going down, the running game is now a little bit struggling. Not a whole lot, not a huge deal, but their lack of oomph or kick on their offense. There's nothing there to start them because Kaepernick, for some odd reason, couldn't find a spark. He was the answer when Alex Smith went down. I will give him that. But the question here is he the answer anymore? And I really don't think he is.
Well, I mean, we're only halfway through the season. We have 8 games left to play. Remember when Alex Smith went down? He had 7 games left to play. Look what he did. He led him to the Super Bowl. I feel as though Kaepernick can come back in the second half. He has to settle down, gain his composure, and once he does that, and I feel as though it'll take a game or 2 to calm him down. Once he's down like that, we'll see him be the Kaepernick of old, and we'll see a repeat performance of when he took over for Alex Smith, in my opinion.
I feel like we've been saying this since week 1, though. Give him a week or 2 to settle down, settle in, but he hasn't yet. So I don't know. Maybe in the second half he'll get more inspired and figure it out. We'll have to wait and see, but in my opinion, you stick with Gabbert.
All right, guys, that's enough about Kaepernick. We're going to move over to the NFC East. In a tight NFC East division, which team looks like they have the best chance to win it all?
I'm personally going to say the team that's on top right now, the Giants, are looking like they're going to win it all. The Eagles look good. The Cowboys and the Redskins are hanging out at the bottom of the division, as we all predicted when Romo.
It's cold in that cellar down there.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we all predicted when Romo went down for the Cowboys, and Dez is finally back, which is a bright spot for them. But again, you don't have Romo there with that synergy or that great teamwork. Anyway, let's talk about the teams on the top of the division here, which we're getting at. The Giants look good. Eli Manning finally turned it on. The Giants as a whole finally turned it on and started playing well about 2 weeks ago, and their 2 back-to-back wins are looking good. The Eagles finally figured out how to play together.
Finally.
Being a bought-together team and put together, they finally figured it out a little bit. So, I mean, hopefully they're going to start going on a little bit of a win streak here. Give the Giants a little bit of competition. But I think it's going to come down to the Eagles and the Giants playing against each other to decide who gets a wild card spot and who wins the division.
I'm going to first agree that no one really cares about the Cowboys or the Redskins. I mean, first off, who even cared about them in the beginning of the season? Seriously.
This is true.
But I'm going to go fly high Eagles. They're going to win the division, in my opinion. I mean, they have the better overall rankings for every single spot, offense, defense, special teams. They have an easier schedule coming up for them. And now that they finally learn how to play, I feel as though Chip Kelly and that offense will definitely be a high factor. I mean, the defense was already there to begin with, and so with the special teams. It was just the offense. But now that I feel like they clicked, they're going to be a lot better team than the Giants. I'm going to say it's going to be a close race, maybe 1 or 2 games difference. But I do believe that the Eagles will take over that division and win and go to the playoffs.
So we got 1 vote for the Giants, 1 vote for Fly Eagles Fly. So real quick, guys, Monday Night Preview, who you got? Bears, Chargers. Who you got?
I got the Chargers because the Chargers have a man by the name of Phillip Rivers who is leading the league in passing yards for this season. He's looking good. The Chargers as a whole really aren't doing too hot, but I mean, you got a quarterback back there who knows what he's doing and can handle himself. So he's looking good for Monday Night Football. The Bears, on the other hand, they're not looking hot at all.
I mean, is that even a real question? I mean, think about it. Phillip Rivers again. We're going to go with that. Because if you look at their offense, 423 total yards. I mean, that is just phenomenal. Chicago Bears has given up too many yards and too many points for them to beat the Chargers. It's not even a relevant question. Chargers are going to win that game hands down.
All right, well, that's all we got for NFL. We'll be right back with some Overrunners Basketball Edition.
The Snapper, home of the latest local news, sports, and entertainment. There's something for everyone. Under completely new management, the Snapper is back on track, run entirely by our student staff. Interested in being a writer? Applications can be sent to thesnapper.com/apply. Join us in Hash 161 every Thursday at 9 p.m. and don't forget to pick up your copy of The Snapper every Thursday. The Snapper, Millersville University's student newspaper since 1925.
And my band about that money, break it down. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. And you didn't just watch.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
All right, guys, 5 minutes till the show. You ready?
Welcome to Bikram Yoga. A beginning yoga practice. All levels are welcome. New student special for only $20, 1 week unlimited. Bikram Yoga. Balance for your body, your mind, and your life.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Back in the zone. So, time for some over-under NBA edition. So, guys, Derrick Rose, 50 games, he's going to play this year. Over-under, what you got?
I think Derrick Rose is going to play over 50 games, although he did break that bone in his face in the preseason. He's wearing that mask. He's healing up. He's playing.
Watch out for Nerlens Noel, might get him again.
Yeah, he's been playing with supposedly double vision for a little bit, but he's putting up big numbers and he's healthy other than that.
I mean, his knee problem is going to keep coming back to bother him. I mean, I've torn my ACL, and from time to time, my knee's been acting up on me a lot, so I'm going to go with he's not going to play 50 games.
All right, let's move along. Lakers, over/under 20 wins.
That's a fun one to talk about. The Lakers are a rebuilding organization. They're going to be rebuilding for the next couple of years, maybe with Kobe Bryant, maybe without Kobe Bryant. We'll have to see. I think they're going to win over 20 games just because they have enough talent that I think they can win over 20 games, enough young talent. But the next couple of years are going to be rough in L.A.
I feel like 20 games is too little for the Lakers. I mean, a good young team that you were talking about. But even if they were a bad team, I feel as though 20 games is still too little for them, so I'm going to go over 20.
All right, let's see. Warriors, they're going to have 65 wins, over or under?
I'm going to go with over on this one because they won 67 last year, and they're off to a better start than they were last year. I mean, the team is basically back. They have the same team chemistry as before. No one really knew, no one really like that, so I'm going to go over 65 wins.
I don't know. It's kind of a tough balance for me because they got 67 last year, and 65 is only 2 wins below 67. Obviously, we all can do math. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough – I think they're going to win 65 or more, but I think they can win probably like 64 or 63 as well. They're going to be somewhere in that ballpark of 65, but most likely over that, probably closer to 70.
Okay, so Andre Drummond has been putting up some really big points right now. So we got 20 rebounds per game, over or under?
I'm going to go with under on this one. I mean, he's at 20.6 right now if we last calculated around there. The season is still pretty early with 7 games in. It's an 82-game season. He's going to drop that, especially if he gets hurt. I'm not saying he's injury-prone, but anything is possible. Under 20 rebounds a game.
I got to agree with you, under 20 rebounds a game, but I think he's going to keep this 20 rebounds a game consistency up probably for the first 20 games of the season. I feel he's on fire across the board, really. He's putting up good numbers, points more than he normally does, as well as his assists. You know, he's definitely looking good. And the Pistons themselves are looking really good as a team this year.
Going back to the Chauncey Billups days.
Yeah, definitely going back to the Chauncey Billups days. 20 rebounds a game, though, that's a lot to keep going. He's good at rebounding, as we all can tell. But
great for DraftKings.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. But, you know, I don't see those numbers keeping up. Maybe he hovers around somewhere around 15 rebounds a game, a little less than that maybe. But that's still pretty good numbers.
All right, so moving over to Toronto. Over under 50 wins. We got.
You want to lead this one?
I'll take this one. That's a big number for Toronto, but they're looking really hot this year. You know, I can see them winning over 50 games this year. That's the first time we can say that for Toronto in a little while. They haven't looked great, the Raptors, in the past couple of seasons. They've been mediocre, average team, but they're not looking mediocre or average this year. They're looking great. They're fun to watch for once, you know. And it's good for them and great for Toronto to finally have a basketball team that's worthy of watching.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Chris Bosh left, in my opinion, they were a non-relevant team. I mean, Chris Bosh was a big reason why the team was a big push. Then when we went to Miami, they started going down. But this year, surprisingly, they came back, and now they're going to have a really good season, in my opinion. Good team, good squad to play with, over 50 games easily.
Hey, but guys, you got to remember they play like the Celtics, those wonderful Sixers that might get maybe 5 by Christmas. They're in a pretty weak division, so how much is that going to be a factor?
I mean, it has a factor on your record. Yes, it does. I think that is going to contribute to them probably getting over 50 wins. But as far as they have to play everybody in the NBA, and they're going to face teams like the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers, who I think if all their young talent showed up and Toronto had a bad day, they could beat. You know, the Celtics are kind of irrelevant, as we were saying. They're in part of this bad division with the Sixers. You know, they could win it. They could get over 50 if they really tried. They could win their division if they really put it all together.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by. Remember, every Monday at 5 o'clock, MUTV in the Zone. Check it out online, MUTV99.com.